The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Isai Sipunga. In the news tonight, Otoya residents finally received decent housing. Okakarara Farmers Association talks red line and its effects. 72% of public entities complained with procurement law, says IPPR. Award-winning artists take on fashion and roundup. Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. First up, Otoya residents finally received decent houses following a long wait since they fell victim to a fire outbreak, destroying over 150 shacks. The residents have been living in tents since their shelters burned down about a year ago.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
It marks almost a year since a devastating fire ravaged the Twaloloka settlement in Walvis Bay. 150 fire victims lost their personal belongings, while a 1-year and 8-month-old baby lost his life in the fire. The victims, who have since lived in tents enduring the harsh Walvis Bay weather, received their houses that were handed over by the head of states.
Our goal is to ensure that all Namibians have access to the basic necessities for a dignified life, such as food, shelter, clothing, sanitation, education, and health care. The welfare of our people in the informal settlements has been given priority, and to this end, we will not rest, we will not relent, and we will leave no stone unturned until we can provide shelter to all. But you must be patient a little bit. I'm not going to do it in one day. We have now a new team here, they have to learn the ropes, but we must provide the needed services to our people. So you, the recipients, these are your houses now, your property. Your property, you are supposed to take care of your property. You must clean it. You must clean them, you must take care of them, and not just to build another kambashu there. These are your houses. You can add on it later on, another room and so on. Okay?
The Namibian government, through the Office of the Prime Minister Disaster Risk Management Unit and coordinated by the Office of the Erongo Regional Governor, Neville Andre, quickly responded to the impending disaster by declaring the site as a disaster risk area. Government, through a cabinet resolution on diagnosation of backyard shacks and informal settlements, declared to construct houses for all the fire victims that were affected. The victims receiving their homes say this is a dream come true and urged the government to provide decent housing for many more Namibians.
It was a wonderful day for the President to give us the houses. It has been long since we were in the tents. It was hard for us. We couldn't cope any longer. But yet, here we are on our own houses. It was so hard. We couldn't cope any longer because it was cold, windy, and also hot when it's hot. The wind was the most thing that were affecting us a lot.
I don't know, even English the little English that I have to speak now is gone. I don't know what to say. This is something else. This is like a miracle. Imagine now if you were sleeping in a ghetto, then you move to a tent instead of moving maybe to a flat, or now you come straight to the house. Something very, 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 very. Even I don't know what to say. But the life of the tent, like You see, in Wabes there's too many weathers, many weathers. If cold times it's a problem, hot times it's a problem. So night time is a problem. It was very hard to be in a tent.
The houses were constructed under the supervision of the project manager Raymond Peterson and the Shack Dwellers Federation of Namibia. All keys are expected to be handed over to the beneficiaries throughout the course of the week.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia Sounds with our Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's Sounds of Flavor.
Hola Simba flavors. Let's roll. Guys, smoke beef. Kwanga finiga. Shaya chocolate. Shakita mud.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
Should the veterinary cordon fence be removed, kept, or moved further up north? These were amongst a list of topics discussed by the Okakarara Farmers Association. Jackson Kajechukuria, a representative of the association, suggests it moves 80 kilometers into Umuthia, the capital of the Eshikota region in northern Namibia. The veterinary cordon fence, or red line as it's famously known, remains a controversial topic of debate amongst Namibians. The government has since independence led several discussions with stakeholders over its removal, but without success. Many farmers are reportedly for the removal of the fence, while others south of the red line are against it out of fear of what could happen to the beef sector. The Okakarara Farmers Association, while carefully considering various factors, suggests that it moves 80 kilometers into Umuthia.
The challenge is the border between Namibia, Angola, Namibia, Zambia. If we don't rectify that side, the removal of this borderline, it's very difficult for our industry. While we think we will come and join our colleagues here, we are just spoiling the whole market. Because the buyer is not us. It's not us in the south that buy the meat. It's somebody sitting in America. NAMLIX came in with its many rules that a farmer, ordinary farmer, cannot comply with. The selling of our own cattle have become a problem nowadays. That AirTech is not 40, 90 days compliant. That AirTech, therefore the market this side is also not easy, colleagues.
The history of the Red Line is seen as a controversy dating back to the early years of Germany's colonial rule over Namibia. Kazachikuria feels the purpose it serves is far from what it was meant for.
When you look at the challenge, there were two things that are linked. Is the Ministry of Safety using the same line for their control purpose? It has now become also a line that is used to check whether when you are coming from north, do you have all the documents needed? Do you have, is this car not stolen? I think for me, or for us, that has also changed the purpose of the whole fence, or the whole veterinary cordon fence. I think that part must be divorced away from the purpose where the fence or cordon was erected. Because now it becomes like a discriminatory something. I can move from here to Windhoek. Nobody is asking me anything on the way. There is no gate. But should somebody move from Oshakati to Windhoek. There is police officer standing there checking his car and whatever. That in itself also provoke the user of the road to see this line is still there for the apartheid purpose.
From a veterinary standpoint, Kazachukuria feels the fence is necessary as the countries importing Namibia's beef have high standards.
When you look at it from the veterinary point of view, one would say the border is needed. Because if you look at all those countries that I've mentioned where we export our meat, they set requirements. And their requirements are clear. They want to buy meat from a free zones. And when we are talking of free zones, is where we don't have this foot and mouth disease. At one point we were saying those zones are free for the past 50 years, for the past 40 years. But last month something happened that the whole market that side, because of a cow that come from either Angola or Zambia, it was detected there. Imagine if that fence was already removed. What could happen to the industry, the meat industry in Namibia at its totality? The whole country could be black today. But fortunately, because of that line, the government managed to quarantine those areas and the ministry intervened, and at the end, a solution was found.
For farmers north of the fence to benefit from the beef market, the OFA suggests that the veterinary cordon fence moves 80 kilometers into Umuthia. Despite a proposed relocation of the VCF to the Angolan border, the idea, according to experts, remains impractical due to the frequent movement of livestock herds across the Namibian-Angolan border. Additionally, building a new fence would be costly.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All the Simba flavors. Let's roll. Guys, smoke beef. Kwenga finiga. Shaya chaki. Shakita mat.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
New Nivea Black and White Deo protects me and my favorite outfit. That's why I feel confident and free. With 5 times Deo Action formula, I stay fresh and protected for 48 hours. And my clothes stay stain-free. Try SA's #1 anti-stain Deo.
The Institute for Public Policy Research recently released the latest edition of the Procurement Tracker Namibia, a publication that evaluates the data on how many public institutions have been complying with the Procurement Act of 2015's reporting obligations. According to the IPPR, around 72% of public bodies were in compliance with the procurement law in the fiscal year 2020-2021.
IPPR Research Associate Frederico Links reported at the recent launch in Windhoek that 128 out of 178 public entities appear to have submitted yearly procurement plans to the Finance Ministry's Procurement Policy Unit for the 2020 and 2021 fiscal year. Although there are some worries about legal compliance, Links claims that transparency has improved.
Even though we're saying compliance concerns cloud 2021, and we point out the transparency shortcomings. 2020, 2021 is also the year that we've actually had the most information publicly available about what's happening in the public procurement space than any year previously. So, we're moving in the right direction. Things in terms of transparency seem to be trending positively. But of course there are shortcomings. And these undermine, what the law envisions in terms of transparency, accountability, integrity, and the like.
Although procurement transparency has improved, there are still some questionable state procurement practices, such as allegations that the Environment Minister unilaterally awarded a transport tender to an operator with no tourism experience, and another allegation that the President's Office and the National Planning Commission awarded 2 consulting firms with a contract to monitor implementation progress of the President's Harambee Prosperity Plan.
Some public procurement-ish matters that have been in the news. Recently, the issue of the Minister of Environment and Tourism, Pamba Shifeta, who seemingly appeared to have discretionarily handed a concession to a very young company to provide transport services at Sossusvlei. And then the other one was the Office of the President, NPC, signing off on a contract, Harambee Prosperity Plan 2 monitoring contract to a joint venture where there was actually that this contract sidestepped the normal procurement procedures, and the justifications given were just very, very weak.
Apart from the flaws in the procurement landscape, the Finance Ministry's Procurement Policy Unit made strides earlier this year by releasing a reference guide to public procurement, which aims to raise awareness and promote citizen oversight of the Public Procurement Act, the Public Procurement Regulations, and the Public Procurement Guidelines.
For years, the award-winning singer-rapper duo Taylor J and Chinchilla have been on stages throughout Africa and have received awards at home and abroad. Following the release of their EP, Rise of the Jaywalker, they have decided to further express their creativity by developing their own apparel line, Genesis Collection.
So Genesis is basically the first collection to launch by Jaywalker Enterprise. Jaywalker Enterprise is an urban brand for streetwear, sportswear that I launched last year, and Genesis meaning the beginning of creation, the beginning of something. That's why I called it Genesis, and it's inspired by my EP. So in the EP, I speak about being on a Genesis ship, like the takeoff. So that's the whole inspiration behind it.
Taylor J, a local award-winning artist, stated that the Genesis collection is heavily influenced by comic books and science fiction, and that it is an extension of their most recent EP.
I'm a big comic book fan. I love sci-fi, and as I said, the collection is inspired majorly by my EP. And the EP with Chinchilla called Rise of Jaywalker is a sci-fi EP. We're basically taking off from another planet and coming to planet Earth. So for us, we're looking at it from a comic book point of view. So as you can see, right now I'm dressed in one of the pieces, and the design I came up with, I drew this is like a comic book. The boxes, everything is meant to represent what a comic book page would be. All the names you see are like characters in the comic book. If you listen to the EP, you can kind of see all these characters and their names, and the different colors is a representation of like their characters, and you start seeing that through pieces, and we're going to start evolving throughout, as we release more clothes. You're going to start seeing more of the personality of the different characters coming through. And the material, so as I'm wearing a shirt. This is a unisex piece, so most of the pieces are completely unisex, except of course like the tight female pieces and stuff. But this is a unisex shirt. This is made from normal shirt material, sports material. Very, very durable, high quality. Same with the pants. It's breathable material that we use, and we wanted movement. These are not winter pants, so they're not for like warmth.
Chinchilla, a local award-winning rapper, stated that fashion is a form of expression and emphasized the need for musicians to branch out their brands.
First things first, fashion is an expression of your individuality. So we wanted people to be comfortable within their own skins, wanted people to be comfortable when wearing the clothes. So that's the first thing we started with. In any business, it's always important to diversify. You can't just depend on one revenue stream. So yeah, like the advice I can give to upcoming creatives is Never box yourself in one thing. Always be willing to try new things and expand your horizons. So that's what we did. We creatives, number one. We're not musicians first, we creatives first. So hence why we want to express our creativeness through other means and other platforms, and the clothing line came about. So yeah, to all the other people, creatives out there, don't box yourself in. That's the number one thing. You're going to box your revenue in if you box yourself in. First off, we always wanted to branch out our creativity. We all know we're musicians, but we wanted to branch out our creativity. So that's number one, what was on our mind. Number two, how the collection came about artistically and stylistically. Our EP has a lot of characters that we wanted to bring to life, and we brought the characters to life through our clothing.
The duo concluded their message with a plea to the local artists to stay hopeful in the face of change and to continue believing in their dreams.
Dink jy sy het nog steeds abandonment issues?
Is moontlik.
Ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net soveel maniere om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk.
Hoe gaan ek 'n bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om 'n tipsie te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible at pata.
In other leading stories, speaking at the African Green Revolution Presidential Summit, President Hage Geingob noted that more than 500,000 Namibians have been lifted out of severe poverty, adding that during his administration's first term in office, the food bank program was rolled out across all regions, reaching 42,081 Namibians, while the drought relief program reached over 2.8 million Namibians cumulatively. According to the October 2020 Socio-Economic Impact Assessment of COVID-19 in Namibia, overall poverty is expected to increase by an estimated 4.2% as a result of loss of income. Government has thus responded by resolving to revise and convert the food bank and special feeding scheme for marginalized communities in a monthly cash transfer as a first step to phase in a conditional basic income grant. The President further noted that Namibia will promote and facilitate the infusion of private strategic investments into the agricultural sector, adding that Namibia has established a green economic recovery plan as has been envisioned in June 2021 by African heads of state during the launch of the African Union Continental Green Recovery Action Plan. The head of state noted that government's ambitious plans to develop a green and blue economy as articulated under the economic advancement pillar of the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2 is hinged on its ability to work with global and continental partners to capture the country's world-class renewable energy resource and utilize it to produce green hydrogen. The emissions-free hydrogen will be converted into ammonia, which is a key building block for various fertilizer products. Locally produced zero-emissions fertilizer can be used to provide a fertile opportunity for local and regional sustainable economic development and will meaningfully contribute to a global effort to decarbonize our economies while augmenting Africa's ambitions to attain zero hunger, added President Geingob. This new clean synthetic fuels industry, he adds, has the potential to double the country's GDP, create employment for thousands of Namibians, and importantly, contribute to a cleaner and more sustainable home for our children and our children's children. Further adding that the environment, hunger, and equity are linked and must be tackled concurrently.
BBC's Smart Money program presents an exciting new technology segment dubbed Smart Tech.
Ghana have a problem of unemployment, also the problem of housing and schools under trees. Now Plus wants to use the problem of plastic waste to solve the problem of schools under trees, housing, and create more jobs for the youth in the country.
Bonjour. Hello, I am Saoudou Niang, director of the Palms Luxury Boutique Hotel in Dakar. I started by cleaning a toilet. Today, I am the manager of my own 5-star hotel boutique with 60 employees.
To give more people access to these life-saving vaccines, South Africa and India have proposed a waiver of COVID-19 patents. And the move seems to be gathering momentum after receiving the backing of the United States. But even if the patent waiver is indeed granted, can Africa manufacture these vaccines at scale?
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. Mobile telecommunication company MTC will create employment for 100 young people who will be part of the listing process as it offers shares to the general public. The recruitment will cost MTC $4.2 million. Speaking to Business on One, Chief Human Capital and Corporate Affairs Team Mekanjo said the initiative will put a temporary dent on the rising youth unemployment rate.
Namibia's youth unemployment is expected to reach 50% this year. The staggering figure grew from 46% in 2018, according to the Namibia Statistics Agency. MTC will provide 100 temporary jobs to young people on its listing process, which started on Monday last week.
We know that the employment figures are very scary, especially youth unemployment. And we want to announce that as part of the listing process, we will create 100 jobs for young people. Even though these jobs are going to be temporary for about 4 months, I think it gives these young people an opportunity to connect with us. It gives them the valuable work experience. Everywhere you go, people will always ask you, what sort of work experience do you have? And usually once you become a temp in terms of our system here at MTC, chances are that once an opportunity comes up, that you will be considered for a permanent job. So yeah, that is the good news. 100 jobs is quite a lot at a cost of about 4.2 million. And we're really happy. We've already employed these 100 young Namibians. We've taken them through the process, and they will basically be coming in to assist us with the listing process. And after that, I think it would be a mutually beneficial relationship between us and them, where they gain the necessary experience, where they are able to take care of their families for the next 4 months, and where we as MTC, get the benefit of their services. So yes, that is the good news coming out of this listing process.
With half of Namibia's economically active youth now on the streets, this could pose major social and economic risks. Ekanjo said addressing this challenge will take concerted effort from stakeholders in the private sector.
If all of us can do our bit, we will be able to reduce these numbers. But we have to come up with strategies as a country to curb unemployment, because it is a serious problem. We've made a contribution in terms of taking at least 100 from this large pool of unemployed Namibians, and we are asking others to do the same, not just through what we have done, but we need to start becoming creative about how we want to curb unemployment, and I think that is a serious matter that we all have to address. We want to thank all our customers. After 26 years, we're still standing. We're still a proudly owned Namibian brand, and would like to thank our customers. They are the real shareholders of this company, and we would like to thank them for their continued support. And all we can commit to is continued service and our commitment to making the connection.
MTC has since 2019 offered internship opportunities to over 400 youth through its national internship program and will continue to welcome 160 interns a year with a monthly allowance of 3,000 Namibian dollars per month.
Thank you for watching. Join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap. Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders, invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with a Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The state of Namibian football stadiums is being questioned as the country was hit with a stadium ban by the Confederation of African Football that no international football matches will commence due to the bad infrastructure of local stadiums across the country. The Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service, Namibia Sports Commission and National Youth Council of Namibia hosted a cleanup day at the Independence Stadium recently. Bonders finds it difficult to understand why a stadium that is already built cannot be maintained. Gillian Hoffman calls it a publicity stunt. Garweb wants to know why there should always be complaints or demand for development. Mitchell asked where the money is that was budgeted for such. Marty says shame on the government, adding that still our athletes strive for the country. While Morena congratulated them for a great job. And that's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day, only on Today on One. Time now for today's sports update with Chairo Musiandaka.
Welcome to a brand new week of Sports on One. I'm Chairo Musiandaka. The Standard Bank Junior Hockey Initiative is a project which will allow for hockey development in the country. The project is aimed at reaching all 14 regions in the country within the next 3 years. Standard Bank Namibia has also pledged a sponsorship of 500,000 Namibian dollars per year for the cost of the project. Here's more from this story from our sports desk.
Heading the program is Women's Senior National Head Coach Erwin Handura. Handura highlighted that with the partnering of Standard Bank, he is hoping to reach all 14 regions of the country to develop the game of hockey.
We thank you all for this opportunity, for your time that you made out. I just want to give you a short brief of the School of Excellence. The School of Excellence came into effect in 2003, so we've been active over the past more than 18 years developing hockey in Namibia. What happened is that Standard Bank Development Hockey Project ran from 92 until 2002. And after that 10-year stand, hockey came to a standstill, and that's where the birth of the Hockey School of Excellence came into effect. So under the School of Excellence, we have a club playing also affiliated to the Namibia Hockey Union, playing also in the National League. We also have an academy coaching youth. We've also been involved coaching hockey through Sanlam in the Kavango region. So it's not a new entity, but we are fortunate today that Standard Bank has agreed to partner with us to really drive hockey where they left it. The School of Excellence continued, but really at a small scale. So the idea now is really taking hockey to all 14 regions, and we're using Standard Bank as a partner, the driver. So that's why this event will be called the Standard Bank Junior Hockey Initiative. They are the main sponsor, and they want to make sure this development goes through all the regions, because the School of Excellence have only done it on a small scale.
Launching the project recently, the Namibia Hockey Union acting president welcomed the initiative and pledged his full support towards the project.
My role as the NHU president, I would love to see the players at the center of sport, nurturing talent from schools to playing for the senior national teams. And why we're here today is one of those initiatives to ensure that the development via programs like this and via sponsors like Standard Bank is actually going to deliver to that goal. We need to increase the number of supporters in our sport. In the context of development, the end result that we get to is the likes of the World Cup that we're going to be playing in 2022. So Irvin is also the coach of that team, and by publishing this and putting that positive image into the press, we can actually get people to, and I will distribute all the links for where all the games are happening, so that all Namibians, just like we've got our athletic stars at the moment, we get behind our ladies and hope that they also bring back a medal in February next year. Irvin, I've not really addressed all of the last 3 years of what you've done for hockey just in terms of development. I would like to highlight that there's over 2,000 kids that Irvin has touched and trained through the sport of hockey. He has traveled to many of the regions, and by virtue of the sponsorship, I'm hoping, and I'll give you my ultimate and full support, that, and I will even go with and train in certain of these instances. I've played hockey, like I said, for a long time. We're in Ondangwa, in Caprivi, in Rundu. I'm going to keep him to task, and I'm going to make sure that we actually reach all those regions. At the same time, I also want you to look at the coast, Irvin. I also want you to look at the south. I know that Riobod has got a budding hockey population. By all the work that you're doing now and in the next few years, those youngsters that you invest in, one day they will be our ambassadors at a national scale.
The project kicked off in Windhoek with coaching clinics for coaches at 8 primary schools for 2 days, with a total of 14 coaches attending a basic coaching course in hockey. The coaches are now expected to introduce hockey to grade 3 pupils at their respective schools. The project will continue in 4 different towns, namely Riobod, Okanya, Gubabes and Mariental, with a regional tournament expected in November 2021.
News just in from Serbia. Namibia's under-15 athletics team, currently representing the country at the under-15 World School Sports Games in Belgrade, Serbia, collected 6 medals in total on day 1 of the Games.
My name is Solly Dekker, and I'm reporting from Belgrade, Serbia, on the performance of Team Namibia on day 1, on the athletics track, as well as on the chess front. On the chess front, Team Namibia didn't perform that good today. The boys played 2 games, we lost both. The girls played 2 games and we won 1, lost 1. So, yes, on the athletics track it was a total different story. There we competed with countries consisting out of teams more than 50 to 60 athletes. Namibia is participating with a team of 11 athletes. But the medals tells a total different story. If we look at our first medal was collected by Liani Bosov in the girls under 15 discus throw final, where she scooped the gold medal with a beautiful distance of 46.62 meters. Liani Bosov was followed by Anine Leroux with a bronze medal in the girls under 15 100 meters final, in a time of 13.62 seconds. Then Stefan Berger in the shot put, boys under 15, add another gold medal to the tally with a beautiful distance of 16.10 meters. Then Ruano de Cavallo in 100 meters boys final had a very tough competition with from the athlete of Russia, where he scooped the 100 meters in a time of 11.26 seconds. Then Team Namibia ended the day on a very high note, where we scooped silver in a very tight competition. We narrowly lost the gold medal in the 4x100 meter relay with a time of 51.46 seconds. But then the boys, the final race of the day, and the field and the crowd, which is not spectators but the rest of the other competitors of neighboring countries and European countries, where they left their competition with a 40-meter difference to won the 4x100 meters in a time of 43.78 seconds. So, day 1, we collected 6 medals in total, 4 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. And Team Namibia is leading the medal table at this point of time, because we are heading with 4 gold medals. There's no other country that equal that medal tally.
Watch the spaces. Team Namibia will be participating in the 200 meters final, long jump final, discus, javelin and girls medley relay tomorrow. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight. Join us again for more Sports on One tomorrow, as well as follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Isai.
Thanks, Charo, for that update in sports. Now let's have a look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Windhoek Met Office. Cold and rainy conditions are expected in the Clarus region on Wednesday. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and mild in the Clarus region with a few showers at night. Elsewhere partly cloudy and warm but hot in the north and east. Windy conditions are expected in the south and west. The coast partly cloudy and cold to mild with fog patches, but cloudy and mild in the south with showers in the evening. The wind light to fresh southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
we have come to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. Do join us again for a repeat at 9:30 this evening, 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Winsalt manufacturer is Namibia's first animal salt, nutritional and medicine lick manufacturer. The company is based in Walfish Bay in the Erongo region. Established in 2019, Winsalt's main focus currently is distribution in Namibia. Exports to other African countries have however also commenced, and plans to export the product elsewhere are underway, with some good prospects for exports to South Korea, the United Kingdom, Germany and the United States. GIPF invested $10,167,000 Namibian in the setting up of the company, which was established after a need in the animal market industry was identified for an alternative to the molasses block, which was purchased from other countries in southern Africa only. The molasses block is a high-protein concentrated feed containing necessary amounts of minerals and vitamins. It supplies non-protein nitrogen to the rumen microbes without risk. Winsalt Chief Executive Officer Craig Dazzle noted that the product was a brilliant idea as its base was mainly salt and Namibia has some of the best salt.
The block itself is quite popular in America, in Australia, in Asia and in Europe. It's very popular, but it's never been to Southern Africa yet, and it's actually, in essence, it's never been to Middle Africa either. So we're actually the first manufacturers in entire Southern Africa producing the block. We've also produced some unique blocks that are world first, where we source the local material we source is from local suppliers. For instance, we now just produced a Devil's Claw block, which is the first of its kind in the world. We've done a Moringa block, which is also the very first block of its kind anywhere you'll find in the world. So there's a lot of firsts that we've created here in Namibia.
He added that the product has already been introduced to all parts of the country and they have received positive feedback.
We've already exported to Angola, we've exported to Zambia twice already. We're busy with quite a large order to go into Uganda. We've received orders from Zimbabwe already, and as well as South Africa. Our very first orders are going to South Africa.
The company, like other businesses, has also been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, especially on the marketing side, according to Dazzle.
That basically put the brakes on in terms of all marketing effort that we want to do especially trying to bring the message across to the farmers that here's an alternative in terms of mineral licks for farmers.
Winsalt General Manager Vicky de Jager explains more on why farmers use salt.
Farmers add salt. They add the salt because it balances your electrolytes in your body. So even for humans, you need a certain level of salt in your body at all times. It affects your heart rate, it affects your electrolyte balance, which affects your muscles. It's also for proper health in your body. It affects your growth rate. Animals that are deficient yield lower milk, their growth rate is lower, their management to have livestock babies is reduced. So the whole salt keeps your entire system working optimally. The difference between our salt blocks and actually just adding salt into the animal feed means that the animals can lick the salt when their body feels that it needs salt. If you just put the salt into the feed, the animals are being forced a certain level of salt, and it might not necessarily be what they are needing at that point in time. If the animal is lactating, if there's breeding season, if a horse has been running and sweating, they're going to need higher levels of salt. But then by the same token, you don't want an animal that's sitting doing nothing having too much salt, because then their salt balance is going out. They're going to get dehydrated, they're going to get their electrolyte balance, their heart rate is going to start beating faster. You're throwing the entire system out. With our salt licks, the animal will come to get the salt when the animal is needing the salt, as opposed to the farmer forcing the salt on the animal.
Dazzle expressed gratitude for GIPF's funding, noting that for a small and upcoming business, Winsalt is doing quite well and is already gaining the necessary exposure. Winsalt currently has 8 employees, and with the growth expected within the next couple of months, the company expects to increase the number to around 25 people. Winsalt employee Matthew Ipinge said he practically knew nothing when he started his employment in 2019. However, with the right training and leadership, he managed to equip himself with the necessary skills to properly execute his job.
Mgaironga paifa aironga aende na shashio muhantu mono wathingane kuatero family no ruvaro imaisha paifa aende ngana wani ngera kuchamutu mevura tadikia statu pandura nena tango shiwini sati sheire muno mombai tupironga ya meri koye ye anduka tupa popo ngatu matulika atu chiganjane satu pandura nena tango JPF ngwali ene ta kwathere winsalta opwa ayambukepo noku poshima noku matira mapo makwaso muganga itaburu pone etukute akutana Namibia yaganje etupiro.
More than ever before, football fans demand unique insight and analysis. The Football Review is much more than a highlights show. Bold, provocative editorial that goes beyond conventional reporting, setting the agenda for football discussion. Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga and much more. Want genuine insight with hard-hitting editorial? Need compelling premium football content? The Football Review. Best, bar none.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath. Slow down. Or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now, so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy, cherish hope, breathe. Take a moment, take a few, and someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
Hello and welcome to the She Word, the show where we discuss trending topics amongst women across Africa. Girl, 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held, a shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a Trikoshi, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Okay. The purpose of sharing my story
was to say, you know, you may have gone through something, a traumatic experience. You are still able to have life. You have life. You can live life. You can contribute to society, and that's what it should be about. It's not more. It's not really about like victimizing or because I honestly don't like watching it.
What's up, world? This is Shay, the goddess of the airwaves, on 99 FM, Monday to Friday, serving you breakfast on the ignition between 6 and 9. We brought you to be inspired, taking you to master your destiny. Now it's time to do the work.
Just show up. Put on your work boots and do the time.
Make it, and then make it better.
Hello world, it's your boy Script here on The Kingdom, where we're reminding you every single day.
Get up. You've got this. Start where you are.
Hey, this is your girl Treza on Hitsville on 99 FM, letting you know it's okay.
Try.
Make mistakes.
Ask.
I am Sibo, and I'm going to be with you for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining us here on your inspiration station, where we let you know
there's no easy money, there's no easy job, there's no easy life.
99 FM. Do the work.
A very big hello to you, ladies. It's great to be with you on the show again.
Yes.
Welcome to Living the Life. Marriage is where the work really is.
That's the main.
So no matter how exhausted the event planner is after, oh my God, I did such a beautiful wedding. She did the wedding. That's not the work.
You understand?
The work is the couple now.
The uterus begins to shrink back to its normal size. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for it to get down to below the umbilicus level, and 4 to 6 weeks if you're breastfeeding. So that's another incentive to breastfeed.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
You're wondering, love, what does it really mean? Someone is telling you, I love you, but if you love me, show me that you love me.
Investing in marriage takes a real hard work. It's not something that you just wake up and feel like, no, because I married my best friend. It's not automatic that the marriage is going to work.
Akiri, 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 akiri.
We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go.
Yay! Well done, soap and water. You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet from others. Germs can travel through the air from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.